When I first started work here, I worked with a deaf learner a long, long time ago, and she didn't sign. She had no BSL. She had a lot of complicated difficulties. I think she may have had cerebral palsy. And I wished very much that I'd understood more at that stage. I went on a very quick day course and learnt a little bit about some of the literacy problems that deaf learners experience. For instance, missing off the endings of words when they write, missing out little words, which of course aren't heard, sometimes not using English syntax so that words are in a different order, and so on. So I learnt those very basic things from a course. What I wasn't able to learn, and I'm only just learning now, and I'm very much at the beginning of the stage, is things like, I know when I first started working with this student, did I talk to her or did I talk to her CSW? I had to actually ask, and I asked the learner and the CSW, and they both explained that yes, it was more appropriate that I talk to the learner, but that of course the learner wouldn't be looking at me, she'd be looking at the CSW. And I think that's initially that can be quite a difficult thing to deal with, because of course we're used to eye contact from the person that we're talking to. I wish I had known that it's all right actually to touch someone to attract their attention, because of course that's something else that we tend not to do. We don't make physical contact with people. I wish I had known a little bit more about the complexities of the English language before we start trying to interpret. There was another word that came up. I know I mentioned the example of generate and produce as being the same. A word that came up in a recent exam was where a character in a text had stormed out of the room. And my learner was completely floored by that. A storm for her was thunder and lightning. She was given 4 alternative words instead of stormed, which were walked, strolled, ambled and rushed. Had no idea what those were. And I found that very interesting. I realised just how visual, of course, BSL is, whereas English language depends on any number of different things. And I'm only just beginning, I think, to appreciate and understand the complexities of BSL and what a rich but totally different form of communication it is. And I think that for teachers like me, specialist teachers, it would be absolutely essential that we be helped learn these things before we start.
Reading a deaf person's English, as I've mentioned previously, is quite interesting because it is not in the same format as we would expect and how we are expected to produce our work. However, the meaning is usually very clear.